We're gonna do the swearing in right over there. Sarah, why don't we call that, okay?
Okay.
All
Are you
right,
swearing in individually or all at one time?
Oh, one time.
okay.
However you
you
all
good
want to
with
do.
that?
No, it's supposed to be individually.
Individual?
The names individually.
Yes,
I'll
individual.
call their names or they have them say their names.
No, we'll just do it.
Individual.
Okay.
The individual.
We're not going to.
Okay, you ready, Chrissy? As CEO of the Board of Education, I am calling our organizational meeting to order. Would a member of the Board of Education like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next agenda item is swearing in of our new board members, and we will start in with Ms. Hall. We can go, please.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I say your name. I say loud, so right here you go. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the Board of Education,
of the office of the Board of Education,
member of Pocahontas County Schools,
member of Pocahontas County Schools,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
so help me God.
so help me God.
There you go. Congratulations.
Congratulations. We will next move to Ms. Adrina Gardner. Sorry about that, honey.
Garber.
Garber.
Raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I, state your name,
Edwina Garber,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America
of America
and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the Board of Education,
of the office of the Board of Education,
member of Pocahontas County Schools,
member of Pocahontas County Schools,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Congratulations. I would also like to remind everyone that is on the board that we now live stream all of our board meetings per policy and per law. Our next item on the agenda is nomination and election of a board president and a vice president of the board. I will now open the floor for the nomination of a board president.
I have a nomination prepared. I want to, at this time, I want to nominate Mrs. Rose as the president of Pocahontas County Board of Education.
I want to nominate Sam Gibson.
That would be declined. Thank you.
I'm going to have to defer to the former board president. How do we do when we have a nomination and someone is not?
You only got one nomination, so there's got to be a second.
Do we have to?
second.
Do we have to have Miss Rose here to meet?
Should be. She's got to accept the nomination. She's got to accept it, right?
Correct. Do we?
I think we should verify that.
I think we should.
Can we have a pause, Christy, in our? Yes, can we pause briefly?
Yes. Mr. Rams, did you hit that
Dr. Call, this is Dr. Williams with the Pocahontas County Board of Education. I am calling because we are in the middle of our organizational meeting. We have a nomination on the floor for Miss Rose, who was recently elected to the Board of Education. She is not present for that nomination. How should we proceed? We do have a quorum of 4. Yes, sir.
Then if you have a quorum of 4, then you may proceed without her.
Even if she's nominated to be the board president, we can elect her.
She is a member of the board, and she's been sworn into office, as I've been told that she is. She's a member of the board and can serve as president, even though she may not be present, is how I would understand this. Now, if you need technical questions, you need to refer that to Mr. Kelly. But again, this is a parliamentary issue. No one has to be present to be nominated for a position. So I understand it, but
Accept it.
So
She would if she was here.
Mr. Grimes has asked, board member Grimes has asked, does she have to be present parliamentarily speaking to accept the nomination?
I'm not aware of that. That is a very technical question. Wait, this point, okay. This puts me in a spot because I don't know the answer to that question, but the answer to that question traditionally would be if you're nominated for a position and you are not present, that does not disavow you at that position.
Perfect. Then we will proceed.
Everyone has been sworn into office, as we understand.
Correct.
Everyone has taken all the necessary things, ceremonial oaths or ceremonial oaths. And even though you may not be present, that does not prohibit the member from, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, it's not a legal opinion, from being nominated and the presidency. Now, the only question would be, she is not there to accept the presidency. But again, why don't you suspend your meeting and call Mr. Kelly, because he can give you an official guidance on this. I
Okay.
cannot give you that.
So
Talk about
do I suspend it and then we can reopen it? Is that what I do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
What I would do is I would simply recess the meeting until you can get a question responded to by Mr. Kelly or your attorney, and Mr. Kelly probably be quicker than that, and then you can bring it from there.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor. I appreciate the advice.
Thank you.
Bye. We will go into a recess, Christy, per Dr. Howard O'Call's advice, and I will contact Superintendent Kelly.
She's on her way.
Oh, is she?
Mr. Kelly is also
Okay.
online too.
Did you talk to her, Regina?
I talked to Claire, her daughter-in-law.
I'm sorry.
We reached out to her.
Yeah, I was thinking somebody get a hold of her.
I was gonna say, if she accepts the nomination, she can do it by sign. Yeah.
But she's en route.
Well, that's pretty convenient. You can see us right there. He's actually watching us right
Yeah,
now.
Mr. Kelly's watching us right now,
Yeah.
What is taxi?
but she's en route, thankfully. We was worried,
He watches every meeting.
because after our last meeting that somebody wasn't here was Dr. Hollingsworth, if you all recall, and that didn't end well.
No.
So
Scary.
it was very scary. So we're sitting here scared that, something else potentially bad has happened.
To the family of her.
Correct. So,
Hello? Hello, Superintendent Kelly? We are in recess. We just had We will now reconvene from our recess, the Pocahontas County Board of Education. We will back up and pick up the swearing in of board member Connie Rose. If you would please stand over here and Miss Sarah will swear you in.
What?
Oh, that stuff in the corner, on.
Okay. You're gonna raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, Connie Rose, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the Constitution of the State of West Virginia, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Board of Education, member of Pocahontas County Schools, to the best of my skill and judgment. So help me God. Good job.
So to just get Ms. Rose caught up, we opened the floor to nominations for the board president. We had 2 nominations. We had one for Ms. Rose and one for Mr. Gibson, and he declined his nomination. Ms. Rose, do you accept your nomination for board president?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Ms. Hall seconds that. Do I have any other nominations for president of the Board of Education? Do I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motions have been, a second has been made. Are there any discussions? Right. We now have, Ms. Rose, you will be the Pocahontas County Board of Education.
You got to vote.
Oh, do I have a vote on, Ms. Rose for, Pocahontas County, board president? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Garber. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Motion carries.
All those-
Congratulations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I will gladly pass.
There you go.
President, you would name the meeting now. To Vice President.
Okay. Motion to nominate Vice President.
I nominate Regina Hall.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, motion carried, vote. All in favor, say aye. Virginia is our Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Nomination approval of committee assignments. I don't know what committees they are.
Ollie can tell us what the committees are. We usually have day report. We have Dunbar. We have West Virginia Extension.
Yeah.
And then, the County Strategic Planning Committee.
We need a list.
I believe, that we have to have a board member serve on the pre-K council. Yes or no?
So what's the question?
For preschool, we have to have a board member nominate to serve on that. So that will be the.
Yeah, have a list.
Yeah, I'm currently on the extension.
Do you
And
want
that's-
to continue?
that'd be fine if you want to keep me there, it'd be fine.
I'm on day report.
You want to continue?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Emery, and you said what else?
Day report Dunbar,
Denmark.
Denmark,
Oh. And pre-K, did we decide?
pre-K strategic plan. We can put one person on both of those. Dr. Hollinsworth served in that capacity last time.
strategic plan, so that is pre-K slash,
Strategic
Strategic
plan.
plan.
We can have the same person on both of them.
okay. And then. Okay,
Mr. McNabb served on the Denmark board.
okay. I'd like to do the strategic plan
Perfect.
and with at least Denmark. Anybody want to do that? Denmark?
Yeah, I'll do
I can do
I'll do
Denmark.
Denmark,
Okay,
unless you want to.
No, I mean, excuse me, I don't have to do the extension. I can, you know, if you want to put me wherever you want to.
no, you're fine. If you've been doing that, that's fine.
It's really, it's a pretty easy duty,
Okay,
really.
and that's the complete list that we know?
That's the complete list that I know.
Okay. All right. Any delegation? No. Recognitions, none. School improvement updates, balanced scorecard.
Madam President, I would like to defer that.
Approval of the agenda from today. Any objection? Okay, then the minutes from May 11th. Any objections, corrections? Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the, minutes of May 11th, please.
all right,
Let me get to that point if we're there.
go ahead. Okay. Motion to bring the minutes to the floor. It's second,
Second,
all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, go ahead.
So we're talking, can I speak about the May 11 minutes?
Sure.
What is, how come we're just now approving minutes from May 11? I don't understand this. It's like 6 weeks ago. I mean, we actually have a good bit of policy about minutes and the way they're handled and be approved and on a specific timeline. And I can bring that up. I found that policy. And it's very detailed about it. And I'll tell you what, it's here. Policy 010168. And it says on paragraph 4, the minutes of board meetings shall be considered at the next succeeding meeting where they shall be corrected if necessary and approved in material changes are required to be made in the draft minutes reviewed by the board. Then in the absence of compelling circumstances and shall be available inspection no later than 3 business days following the meeting in which the minutes are approved. And it goes on.
Madam President, may I address that? My apologies. We will do a better job. And we will make sure that they're done in a timely fashion moving forward.
Yeah. I was gonna say, maybe at our work session, whatever we need to do to help you get those in timely fashion, we can
We
do.
will do that.
If it's something we can do to help
Thank you for
make that a
the.
goal. Okay. Anything else on May 11th?
No, not on May 11th, but I think that's noteworthy. And this happened several times in the past. You know, we've been doing it. It's happened. This isn't the first time. So thank you.
Well, I think as a board going forward, I'd like to see more sticking to exactly what the policy says, because when you open it up to sometimes you're very stringent with your policy, sometimes you're not. then it opens up to, well, you were this time, you weren't that time. So maybe going forward, our goal can be to just stick to the policies. If it says the timelines, and that's what we need to do, unless there's extenuating circumstances. We can't help what's been in the past, but we'll go forward.
Mhm.
Okay? All right. Personnel matters. They're listed. Oh, I'm sorry. So I thought we did. I'm sorry. So approve the minutes of May 11th. Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, they're approved. Then personnel matters. We're not reading them anymore, so,
Need a motion.
okay. Incomplete. Okay, thank you.
So you, wait a minute, so you just said we're not reading them anymore?
No.
We're not reading the
Wait,
names.
told not to.
That was announced at the last meeting, and I think it was a recommendation from actually came down from the state.
No. Wow.
So. Do you
Well, how do we
have,
know who's?
do you have them there? Did you get? did
Yeah,
you
everybody
get-
has it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think actually there's only one or two, and they're for summer school and extended year.
Yeah, we have a service recommendation as well
You need a
for
motion.
a 261-day contract.
Okay. Any discussion, bring to the floor?
At this time, I'd like to ask for an executive session on personnel.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Time
Corporation.
is 10:47.
What's your time?
Recorder.
Okay. So
Make a motion and have a second.
make a motion to approve
I'll make a motion to come out of the executive session.
at 11:40.
I'll second it.
Okay. The motion is to approve the professional and service personnel as listed. Do I have a motion to approve?
I need to pull out, Fred Cover as
Okay,
assistant football coach and vote on him separate.
all right. Make a motion to approve the others as listed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, let's do Mr. Corber. Make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose.
Well, Mr. Grimes opposed. Okay. All right. Old business, there is none. New business, approval of fundraisers. Any fundraisers?
Should be in the packet.
I
Okay,
got a couple things about, old business, if that's something, can we,
all right,
how, old business, I think this qualifies. What's the latest on the Marlton Middle School playground? Is that still, did we have an exercise on that recently?
Would it be okay if we moved that to board discussion instead of?
Let's, yeah, okay.
That would be
Let's just make this-
replaced. Thank you.
perhaps we can follow up with a few people by then. See where we're at, okay. Fundraisers, you have PCH football boosters, gonna do a boost at Pioneer Days, sell food and apparel. Been approved. All right, Durban Days for PCH football boosters, food and apparel. Been approved by president of the football boosters, by the principal and by our treasurer. All in favor? To
Aye.
approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next on the agenda, of MOU between Marlin Middle School and Pocahontas Memorial, and MOU between Marlin Middle and the state police.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay,
What is it?
Memorandum of understanding.
Well, what do they do? Is that like, I thought we already had for the hospital. I can understand the police one, but is it, are these a business? Because we have school nurses and we have community care. We have the hospital too, but I'm not opposed.
I think it's in the case of an emergency.
Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
what it is.
that is our place that we will go
That's,
to.
yeah, you,
So that it's a legal thing, you've got to, this is where we're going for care in the case that the nurses, the whoever,
Okay, all right,
it
that's
goes
fine.
above and beyond their scope.
Does this apply to the other schools too?
Yes,
Or just,
Do all
We
the
just
other
don't have-
schools have it?
we have not got them all on the agenda, but we
Okay,
need
but
to
they'll
get them
be
all on the agenda.
Okay,
so they'll eventually.
You'll eventually see it.
Oh,
all
okay.
the-
Something special to,
Yeah.
and that, so.
You should have seen them last year too. They're at annual approval.
okay, all right. And the state police. I guess when anything requires anything over and above what normally is done, that they will help. I like this, that they'll help
Relocate.
Yes,
alternate care, alternate site.
Madam President, would you like for me to address a little bit?
Sure.
On August 1, all of our schools has to submit a crisis plan to the West Virginia Department of Education for approval. Part of that crisis plan is a memorandum of understanding for an alternate location should we have to evacuate the facility and go to another place.
Mhm.
All of the principals have to get there memorandum of understandings together and get that board approved to be part of that crisis plan. And then that we train on that. So this is an alternate location that's been identified for this particular school. You should see those for each school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to approve the crisis plans after all this.
Okay. And when they do alternate sites, does somebody go through and say they can accommodate this, they can accommodate that?
Mr. Gibson does that as the facilities director, and Mr. Anderson will also participate in that now as the safety director. They're co-safety directors. One's facility and one's technology.
Okay. And you might consider looping in the county emergency plan.
Mr. Brown, we have had a safety meeting with Mr. Brown, who's participating in that as well.
Okay. All right.
So all the schools have their own special site then?
That's correct.
Yeah, so it's not everybody going to Emmy,
No.
state police barracks.
We have to get prepared in case we have to evacuate and know where we're going and what the appropriate process. And we communicate with emergency, Mr. Brown has, and we've also collaborated with Mr. McCoy of the sheriff's department to make sure we're on the same.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Right.
Non-public school students, it's the application for non-public school students and Hope Scholarship receipts. Would like to expand on that?
This is our participation, according to our policy, which is going to be revised slightly. But, students that have applied for the Hope Scholarship can apply to participate in courses or athletics with the public school system. Now, students that apply have to be in good standing. And our attendance director works with, the various agencies to make sure that we are following the appropriate protocols and procedures. So these are students that have applied for the Hope Scholarship and wish to participate in public school activities.
So at the last meeting, when we exercised on this, or did we, Mrs. Shiflett stated that you all had worked out a adjustment in. So how does that, is that the same thing we're talking about here with the new thing? Is it, how does that affect this
So
exercise today?
Ms. Shiflett said that the committee wanted to maintain the same cost for Hope Scholarship, but for non-Hope Scholarship would just be plain homeschool students. That's not applied for the Hope Scholarship. There would be an adjustment in those fees.
But not if you're a Hope Scholarship, the $750.
Well, what if they get an allotted amount? Sometimes it may be less than $750. Sometimes it may be more based on what the state allocation is that year. But there was not an adjustment for the Hope Scholarship funds because if they get money.
All right.
Was there an amount decided for the people that were just homeschooled?
It was, I think it was 1/3 is what she said. I'll have to go back and look at that. It wasn't the same cost as the Hope Scholarship. It was a reduction. Yeah, significantly less because they're not getting the Hope Scholarship.
Did we vote on that or did it go out in public comment? How does
It's going out in public.
that's
comment,
going out in public comment? Okay, thank you for clarifying that because
And it'll go out for 30 days.
it'll go up for 30 days. Okay,
For
So-
board meetings.
all right, so, okay.
And to clarify that, again, that's not for Hope Scholarship recipients.
No, that remained the same. The committee wanted that to remain the same.
And we are still calculating that 1/7 based off of our 7 periods.
You know, we probably need to look at that revision and it needs to be 1/8 because we have 8 periods now.
And we're doing, well, does the block schedule?
The block
Work
schedule is
into it.
you
Yeah.
get 4 in the spring and 4 in the fall. That's an 8 period.
Mhm.
So when I put that revision out, I need to adjust that for that revision. But then again, the middle school is still 7 periods. So we'll probably need to put a clause in there, one for middle school, one for high school.
Yeah. And this is just the application.
This is just the application saying that you're approving them participating. Now, there will be a series of things they'll have to pay, they'll have to follow the policy, they have to make sure that they're in good standing, all those things, and that will be done by Ms. Shiflett. You're just saying, we give you a permission to start that process.
Okay. All right.
Is there, so what, let me ask one last time, do we have to administrate a fee? Is that something we have to do per the state code? I mean,
It is something that is done in most counties, and we are following guidelines to reap some of the benefits back from our students, some of the funding. This year, there were over 26,000 Hope Scholarship students, which is a significant loss to public school systems.
Yeah,
It's my understanding that sports are and extracurriculars are separate from that of instruction. And so basically for instruction, we're charging for a tuition, whereas the law provides for sports and extracurriculars that it's more a cost of participation. And so, I would be curious to know how we are coming up with that same fee for sports and extracurriculars that we're charging for tuition.
So there's a series of 14 categories, I believe, that you can charge for. And those categories are put in by our chief school business officer. And Sarah, would you like to address what those various categories are? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
It's fine. Now, nothing has been set for 26, 27. And all we set for the 25, 26 school year was the couple of classes that were taken. And that was where we came up with the 152.48. I rounded it to 750, but it's 752.48.
Mm-hmm.
It will be just a little more because Hope went up, so it'll be just a little more for this year. But as the categories that we can go besides the tuition, you can go sports equipment, you can go sports apparel, the participation.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so what do enrolled students pay for cost of participation? Like what do they pay for sports equipment, uniforms?
Can we have a meeting on that? We can have a discussion on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's
Okay.
That would be great. I would really be interested in that because I think sports are kind of the cornerstone of, when we want to bring students back, I think the reasons that the main things that attract them, are going to be obviously a great sports program,
And
their
that will be,
peers.
voted
and
on
programs.
you all, how you-
Mhm.
Should you not choose to go with the 1/7,
Mhm.
that will be strictly on how you all decide you want to have it.
In the meanwhile, have you, kind of asked other school districts what they are doing for sports?
We can make a
Just-
comparison.
Yeah, make a
We
like
can
versus
comparison
like.
for a larger, and then those counties that are more similar to us.
Right,
See what. we can do
right. That
of
would be good to say if they're following the same or if they don't count sports, just to make sure we're kind of following in line.
Sure.
That would be good. Thank you.
You want to go out on a limb? Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I have a problem with it basically because it seems that we're charging a tuition, which says to me, we're trying to make a profit on this from
Well,
tax funded dollars.
They're not tax, no. If
I mean,
if they apply for the
just-
Hope Scholarship,
That's where I'm at with it. I think it's a basic flaw in the whole plan.
well, let's think on it this way. I understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
but we also have to buy more equipment. So let's do an analysis and let's see so it comes to the forefront of what is it costing us for health? So if we've got
Mhm.
10 extra scholarship kids are coming in, we're gonna have to purchase. We will be aware of what it's gonna cost us instead of just blindly charging, then we'll all know.
It goes into
I don't mind doing
supervision,
that.
transportation,
Mhm.
all the things. We need to look it up, break it down to a cost.
And is that, if we're gonna get
Maybe, I
another
don't
10,
know.
is that gonna mean we're gonna need more instruction or more coaches? What else is it gonna affect the county?
yeah.
So sure, that would be a wonderful thing for everybody to be aware of.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Anybody know how many Hope Scholarship students, recipients we have in the county?
I would have to ask Miss Dunlap because she oversees, the Hope Scholarship. I will tell you that something that is not allotted for is how much of her time doing all the work for Hope Scholarship takes up. She spends days and days and days doing all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's important when we start thinking about all of the fees and things and all the extra work. It takes up an inordinate amount of Miss Dunlap's time.
We were being mindful, and the committee that she brought together was being mindful of those that don't receive the Hope Scholarship, where it's
Mhm.
truly coming out of their pocket.
Mm.
Where we're being a little bit more mindful of that, if you're not getting any help, we're not gonna hit you.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I was glad
I
to
agree
see
with
that. So, okay, that would be good just to start drawing down, so to make sure we're in line, we're not being out of line. Okay, any further discussion on the application? Make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, last one. Superintendent updates.
I just wanted to update the board on some of our summer activities that's going on with our teachers. At the end of June, we trained 22 staff members on the Orton-Gillingham approach to teaching reading. I've had wonderful feedback from the teachers and from Miss Burns regarding that training, which will help us address the Third Grade Success Act and make sure that our students have what they need that's necessary for phonics and phonemic awareness, and it's a multisensory approach. We are going to have a Principals Leadership Academy. I think the first day back for principals is the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It's going to be our Principals Leadership Academy. At that academy, first, we're going to go over some of the organizational structures that we've talked about, spending protocol, employee handbooks. The second day, something that we really need to work on because we have it in our schedule is professional learning communities. And we're going to use the DeFore framework, learning by doing, to really work with our principals on collaboration at the school level and what good collaboration looks like that drives student achievement to the next level. And then the third day, I have asked Ms. Schaffner to reach out to the West Virginia Department of Education, and we're going to get a policy on 2510, the evaluation process and due process, what it looks like in our forms, our incident forms, our focus support plan and our corrective action plans, and make sure that we're all on the same page because that's an annual training that is required. And then we're going to work on some team building activities. Moving forward, I started this last year. So first I have an academy with the principals and kind of, get us fired up. We're moving together, get our slogan for the year. And then prior to school starting, we're going to have a teachers academy. And at the Teachers Academy, we're going to focus on, again, that learning by doing framework to build capacity in the county to make sure that the principals have support for implementing the professional learning communities. We're going to have some training on our social studies series. Ms. Hammonds will be providing some training on WEVAS and entering grades in appropriately and managing student transcripts. So we have a plethora of things planned over the summer for our teachers. And then our first day back to school will be August the 12th. We will have an opening speaker at that day. And I extended to all the board members last year. Mr. President Groundsden took advantage of it, but I would love to have all the board members attend. I will give you a slot on the agenda if you would like to address the crowd. So certainly you have that opportunity and you're welcome to attend our back to school event. And then maybe in the afternoon, we'll have something on procurement protocols and procedures to make sure that we have nailed that down in our county and everybody understands that. The second day, which will be August the 13th, is still a countywide professional development day. We're going to look at data analysis at where our students were performing. what standards we really need to drill down to that are consistent district-wide or school-wide, and talk about resolutions to that and how we better address those learning standards for our students. We are also going to focus on specially designed instruction, making sure that we are really solidifying how we organize the instructional block at the high school. We're going to talk in CTE about the team building process and what teams looks like, not just the teacher teams, but we need to build strong student teams for student simulated workplace and how they manage that. We're going to talk about protocols and procedures. That was something from our special education review audit that was countywide, about how consistent protocols and procedures of how we expect students to behave in a large setting, in the cafeteria, in the gymnasium, how that trickles down into having consistent protocols and procedures in our classrooms. So we have a full slate, but all things that will be great and hopefully provide our teachers some support and move our students forward academically.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For our tardy problem too, you know, our absentee issue.
Maybe.
Yeah, let's hope.
Then the second thing I have under B is we have, I've talked to each of you individually, but on July 15th, Dr. O'Call from the West Virginia School Board Association and our attorney Jason Long to have a training with the Pocahontas County Board of Education, and for us to collaborate on setting some goals for this year for your visions, our visions, what we want to happen for our school system, to give us some directions that we can work towards and some things that we want to accomplish. So he will train us on protocols and procedures and transitions, and then we'll have a goal setting section so we can get our goals together. Which your goals drive my goals as a superintendent, which drives all the director goals.
Thank you. Board member remarks. Mr. Gibson?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple things here. President Rose, and a couple things here. Did we skip over did you, on the agenda at the first, you had your goals, the opening statement. Did you pull them out, Ms. Williams? Because one of your 5 goals was policy update on the beginning of the agenda. Oh, weird.
Yeah, those were last year's goals that we worked on, that we will reset these goals for this year on the 15th. We'll establish new goals.
Okay, so that was last year.
That's last year's.
That was 50% improvement. Okay, good.
So that was last year's, and on the 15th, we'll set this year's.
Okay.
If you would like for me to address the elementary playground now, it would be an appropriate.
Yeah, that's what I'd really like to do. And then it's best part of the old business, the MES playground. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think Mr. Anderson's gone down to the playground a few times and may be able to, provide us some of the information when he went down there with Mr. Gibson. Mr. Anderson, do you have anything you would like to share with the group?
So the last time that I did go down there, it's been some time ago that it was a donor that come to survey and to look at the place before they were going to get involved, even more so. And I'm not sure where that has stand. I've heard different, different things, basically saying, well, he might have pulled out, but I haven't heard that officially. So I'm not so sure where we're at on the, that part of like where they're going to do the whole new, racquetball or the, pickleball.
Pickleball. So it was an oversight on my behalf. We have Ms. Schaffner sitting here, who was the acting principal for the rest of the year. Ms. Schaffner, would you give us an update on that?
So the week before 4-H camp, I got in contact with Lucy Massessa because you guys know 4-H camp's quite busy. She had actually talked to, his name is John Convoy, and he's associated with Young Light. He got connected through the state conference with Young Light. Back in this winter, he had come and did a site visit of Marlinson Elementary, and he wants to transform the existing I guess, the half basketball court, right as you walk out Marlins Elementary School
Right.
doors into a pickleball court. Lucy reached out to him because we hadn't heard from him in quite a while. She reached out to him, I guess it would have been the second week of June. He is still interested in funding the refurbishing of those courts, including the pickleball court, possibly doing the tennis and basketball court. And then depending on the funding, he wants to put a fence around the entire playground. So he wanted to get in touch with Justin Dilly, who's a surveyor.
Yeah.
I reached out to Justin before I finished up at Marlins Elementary, and Justin was supposed to get in contact with him, but I haven't followed up with Justin to see if they made a connection yet or not. But I would be happy to do that, make sure that, you know, the process is still rolling since there's no administrator there building at this time.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Lucy had, or the school had applied for a Dramas Fairs and Festivals grant to receive a shade structure. We purchased that shade structure and it was delivered, last week or the week before last. So it is sitting at MES waiting to be assembled and installed.
Thank you.
So it's kind of, Mr. Homeboy didn't want to proceed until he had a survey done to determine how much, because he wants to raise up the one court, because there is a lot of standing water, when it rains pretty hard. So he wanted to raise that up, but he needed a survey completed. And Justin wasn't available until after school was out, so, I know Lucy's been working on it and, but I can make that, I can reach out to Lucy and Justin and see if they made any
Yes.
progress.
Justin's on vacation this week.
Well, please do, because they'll need some oversight on that, because we're in the construction season right now, you know, I mean, we'll hit some point, we'll have to say yay or nay, whether we do it or not, this fall, you know, and maybe call the guy. Please, let's do everything we can to.
Would it be appropriate to have her as the point for the Board of Education? She's got a history with the elementary school, knows the moving pieces, and just make her the board's representation.
Until we get a new principal, and she can transition him, and we will have her do that.
That's right, the principal would be the person for that, I guess.
That
So
would
we'll
be
do it until then.
to stay
Okay,
on.
that makes sense.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah, okay, and that's not all. The summer grounds person, I think the schools look really good. I want to commend on that. The grounds, there's we cut a lot of grass at Pocahontas schools. We cut a lot of acreage. You know, and you know, I was wondering if maybe it would just have him to cut all the grass at all the schools, you know, that's all he does. It's the grass cutter person, but we can talk about that. Energy Express, I'd like to remind the rest of the board and the public, Energy Express is going on, and if you can read and are a friend of education and go read to these kids, it's a good thing. I go there. Now, if you plan to go in more than once, you have to go through the background check program, and it's, you know, it's standard, but it's a good thing.
Who's the point of contact for that?
That would be Lucy, the WVU Extension Service, and they're right at the school down there right now,
Okay.
every day. So, and last week, we discontinued the Green Bank summer school, right? So
Correct.
we're still going in MES and the high school? Or
Correct. We did not have staff members apply.
okay,
We did not have, we couldn't staff it, and we didn't have but 3 students.
that Green Bank.
That's my understanding.
Okay. So we're still going everywhere else, so everything's good?
Everything else, as far as I know, is
Okay, that's still good. Thank you for that. And finally, you know, I want to welcome our new board members, and, you know, it's a pleasure to sit here with you, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right.
I don't have
Mr.
any.
Brown.
I don't have anything to do.
Well, since it's our first meeting, I just want to say I'm honored to be here. And I do look forward to working with every board member and staff, and just really hope for positive momentum and creating that for our students. That's what I look forward to. One thing I would like to focus on would be our student representative. We talked a little bit about that. I would like to see and get to work on that so that we can have someone here at the start of the school year to sit with us and provide that valuable input. That's all.
Will that wait till Ms. Wagner gets back? Or-
Yes,
Okay.
we'll probably have to wait until student elections take place. And then they elect the student body president, and then that'll be part of the process.
Understood.
Okay. I don't have anything today. Taking it all in. Thank you all very much. We're adjourned at 12:10.